This is the second part of our Logo Motion series. In this lesson, we're going to go over a more 3D style of animation using the same logo. And then after that, we're going to see a really simple logo motion, just in case these two examples were a little bit too hard and you're just looking for something simple and easy. Let's go ahead and import our project. So this is the one we used in the first lesson. I've added two more, and let's bring this guy in. This is just the logo itself, and then we have the outline of the logo, which we're also going to import. And finally, we have a color palette. You can bring in any color palette you want. This is just a metallic color palette. Double click on the flat logo. We're going to hold down Control and press Y or Command Y to make a background so we can see things. Alright, so what we're going to do is to start with a black screen. I only brought this so we can see what's going on. And then we're going to add the metallic look to this flat shape and then add a more 3D style of logo motion. Let's go ahead and just take our shape layer. We don't need the text, just delete it. Go on the shape layer and we're going to pre-compose the shape like we did last time. Just choose this one, call this our logo. Hit OK, and now this is a pre-comp. We're going to go on the effects and presets and we're going to look for fill. Put it on top. I'm going to make it white. We can delete our white solid, and you can either make another black solid or leave it like that. Right now it's only black because of our composition background color, or else if you export this, it's going to have no background. Alright, so now we have a white logo. The reason why we made it white is that we're going to add the gradients that we talked about. So just drag in your color palette. Search for a color that you like. I think I'm going to go with maybe this gray. Just put it on the side. You're going to sample. Go in your effects and presets again and look for gradient. Get the 4-color gradient. Drop it onto your logo layer. We're getting some random colors, but that's not what we're looking for. So next to each color, grab the eyedropper tool and select each of these colors. So we did this, second one, third one, and I think I'm going to do this separate in the other way, so it's light to dark. And then finally, because there's 3 colors, I'm just going to grab the gray here. So you can see we have like a gray motion, but notice how each of the corners are way out of our shape, so we need to reposition them. So get the first one, want to put the, I'm going to make this white actually. Completely white. I'm going to bring the white here. Get the darkest color over here, and we also had another one that is somewhat dark as well. Bring the other one here. You can play around with these and see what works best for you. But with the second color, I think I'm going to go with, I think this was the darker one. Just changing the positions here. Want to go for like a dark to light, so no matter what color you're choosing, just make sure that it has that 3D effect. So you can either do dark to light from here or in the way that we are doing it. Alright, and then come down here in the blend and make sure you do not turn on the keyframe, the stopwatch, and we're going to reduce the blend just a slight bit because the blend is kind of not helping with what we have. I'm gonna make this, I guess this color as well. Yeah, that looks better. And let's see. I'm gonna put this a little further away. Okay, this one goes here. We did the opposite. There we are, maybe a little bit lighter than this. Click on this and just make it a little lighter. Compare the two colors here. And if the color's too intense, you can bring it away and it will look better. Alright, so I'm done with this. Again, you can play around with the blend, see what works best with the colors that you have. Okay, so we made this, and now we have a really simple gradient shape. If we click away, you can see it's still there. I'm going to delete my metallic color palette. We only needed it for that. And now that we have this, we're done prepping the background of our logo. I'm going to name this logo BG. And now we're going to also prep our outline. So just go in your project panel up here. Let's turn this off and bring in the outline composition. Double click. So essentially we have this. Or I'm just going to bring it in the same one. So just bring it down here or above, whichever works for you. And this is a black black outline. So what we want to do is to just get a white solid. Alright, we're just going to get a white solid so we can see what we're doing. We have these black lines. Again, the quality is low because we set this to third. If you set it to full, you're going to see the full quality. Bring it back to third. Now go on the outline, and what we want to do is to just, let's actually delete that. Open up the outline layers and get the shape outline, place it on top. We just want this. Now on here, we're just going to right click and go in create shapes from vector layer. So we have the outlines only. You can go ahead and delete the Adobe Illustrator file. Name this outlines. Okay, and in here we can just open this up, contents. We have the different groups. This is optional, but I want to kind of increase the stroke. So you have to go in each group, open up stroke 1, and come down to stroke width. Let's try 3. You set this to full and have a look. Click away. I think 3 is good, so I have to do this for every single group. We have group 2, stroke 1. Set this to 3 as well. Then we have the third group. Or you could just type stroke here. Oops, we got the R. Stroke. So it opens up the stroke in each one. Set this to 3. We have these two in the end. Just need to do that as well. Alright, so we have the stroke. You can set the cap to whatever you want. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm also going to go in the fill. Not the fill actually, I forgot. Let's open it up and see. Stroke 1. Yeah, the color. So just type in color, not fill. If you open up color, you can just change each one to white. The reason why we're setting it to white, like we said, is that the metallic colors stand nicely on top and they show up nicely as well. If it's black, nothing is going to show. So that's what we're doing. Now I can go ahead and delete the outline, delete color, and then we're going to delete the white solid too. So we just have this cool effect, and this is great because now we get to maybe add a glow effect, a flickering effect, and just go crazy with the 3D effects that will help make our flat logo look cooler. Alright, so on outlines, we're going to add the glow effect, which we are pretty familiar with right now. Hit glow, add this on top of outlines. Alright, you can add to the radius. Let's try 30. Click away. And for the intensity, I'm going to add maybe 10. Maybe 5. Maybe 30 is too much. I'm just playing around with the numbers and see what we have. Threshold, let's make it 50. Alright, we have the glow. I'm going to go in the outlines again and search for color up here. I think white isn't right. Let's go for like a yellowish color, so the glow would look better. I'll just grab the eyedropper tool and get the same yellow for each of these guys. Boom. There we are. Alright, you can see the glow looks better now compared to the white. Now this is glowing. We can again go in here. Maybe add to the intensity, to the radius. Oops, that's a lot. And let's see. Add to the threshold. And there we are. So without the glow was just this. Let me click away. This is without the glow. This is with the glow, so it's a little bit of light. That's what I want. And let's see. Try number 10. Okay, so we have this vibrant yellow color. It glows like that. I'm gonna go for 36. Before, after, just a little bit of glow. Alright, we have this, and now that we have this, we can go ahead and add a trim paths, which is another effect that we're familiar with. Go in outlines, go to the add, and add trim paths. Open this guy up. And you could either go for the end or the start. These depend on how the shape was drawn, which in this case, it's random. So if I hit start and I move in maybe 5 seconds, make it 100. Let's actually see a preview. They don't exactly start at the same time, which I think adds a nice effect to it. So it's not a predictable stroke effect. You can also go in with the end. I'm going to copy that, turn this, go on end and just add, turn on the stopwatch and then just add that same effect. So 100, 0. You can do the opposite if you want. Turn off start so we can see the end. So it starts from the opposite direction. You can choose whichever you prefer. I'm going to stick with this. Alright, so down here we also have an option for, you can also make it appear individually. So if you play this, it goes one by one, and you can just choose whichever you prefer. Does that. I like it when it's all at the same time, so just do that. And we do want it to be 0 to 100, not the opposite. Because after the 5 seconds, we want to add the other animations. So 0 to 100, grab both keyframes, F9. You can go in the graph editor and make sure you right click here and check that it's on speed graph, not value graph. You get this curve thingy, grab one of the corners and just want to kind of add a nice smooth animation. Remember the slide theory. So slow, and then quick, and then slow. So, because this is a slide, you're coming up really, or think of a roller coaster in this case, going up really slowly, really fast, and then here it's slow. And that's what we're getting slow lines, fast lines, and then slow lines again. That's kind of a luxurious look to it, but again, it's optional. Now we did this. I do want to copy this outline layer. So Control D or Command D, bring outlines 2 underneath. Let's call this outlines BG. Call this outline glow. Remember to always name your layers. Now in outline BG, we don't want glow. We just want the basic white color. And we just have the trim paths keyframe, which is what we want. But in the stroke, let's set stroke on this outline BG. Make this bigger than the glow. So instead of 3, go for like 5. 5, 5, and then we have to change the color as well. Search for color. I want to make this white. You can also get the eyedropper tool and just drag the color. And because this is underneath, we do have to change this color from, just make it a rather lighter yellow. Maybe something like that. Or choose any color you want. You can go for like pink or something. Play this back and you can see we're getting a nicer look compared to what we had. You can also make the stroke less, which is what I'm going to try. Stroke on, glow. Gotta select a layer and then hit that. Make it 2. Experiment with the numbers until you are happy with it. So the glow is barely there. It looks better. You can go in the effects and presets, open this up. And we could just maybe add to the intensity, the radius, and all of that. Let's actually add a fill layer to the outlines glow. Fill, go on top but below glow. Open this up, it's red. Not really the color we want. We wanted a, let's see. We do that, or maybe add like a orangish color. Experimenting. Add that, and it's just going to look something like this. Not sure if I like that. Okay, I'm going to play around with the stroke and the fill, and then I'll be back so we can continue. Yeah, I went ahead and just made a white stroke on top, and then we have the glow. Close that. But now we're just going to pre-compose outlines glow. Just right click, pre-compose, move all attributes into new composition. And we're going to add glow on this again, just to intensify what we had. Let me come in here. So this is what we have, but we want to increase the glowing effect. So reduce the threshold. We want to add to the radius. The intensity too. Just play around with it. Maybe 5. Let's try 53 maybe. So we have a somewhat glowing line, and this is what it will look without the glow. So if this was before, this is after. You can see it's like a slight glowing effect. Alright, so we have the line, it's appearing, and it stops after 5 seconds, but I don't want to stop here because we want to add even more effects to it. And I'm just going to double click on Glow Outlines Comp 1 and change the stroke cap. Keep forgetting the name. Just open up Contents, Group 1, Stroke 1, and okay, Line Cap. Search for Line Cap. Instead of Butt Cap, change it to Round Cap. It will look cooler. So just come down and change each one to Round Cap. Let's go back. Now we're getting rounded lines, which just looks better. Alright, now let's add the flickering effect that we talked about. So to do that, we have to go in the beginning, and we're going to go in the opacity. So just click on that, hit T for opacity. And we're going to alt-click on this stopwatch. So hold down Alt or Option, click on this. Going to get this coding room, which then we can just simply write in wiggle, and then parentheses. We're going to go for a high number, maybe 45. comma 120. Click away from your screen. And basically, we have a slight wiggle line. I don't know if you guys can see. Can you see that it's wiggling from the yellow to white? If you turn this off, you can actually see it better. You can see it's like flickering lines. Let's zoom out. Changes to fit. You can see we have some really cool flickering lines. And we did that by just adding the thing. And we could actually delete the outlines background. I'm just going to bring it below black solid just in case we may need it. So I'm happy with the flickering. It looks cool. And we also added the trim paths effect, which makes it even cooler. And then around here, I'm going to first duplicate this outline comp. And the second one, we're just going to hit T and just turn this to 0. Alt click on that. We just basically have a normal line. If I turn the first one off, you can see it's just, let me turn this to 100. It's just the regular line that we had. So the reason why we did this is that after the flickering happens, we want the normal shape to just be there. So in the, oops, I've turned off the visibility. Turn it on. We're just gonna get the flickering animation. And then once it's done completing the shape, which was around 5 seconds, we're going to get the regular line. Just hit U on outlines. Actually double click on it. And then we're going to go to trim paths. Open this up. Just turn off the stopwatch. So we just have the regular shape without the thing. We have turned it to 100. All right, go back here. So after this happens, this line appears. And yeah, so it's there. And because this is underneath, it's going to make the flickering less, which is what we want. But in the beginning, I do want to add a slight opacity animation so it's not suddenly visible. Grab both, F9. So this is what we have. We have the flickering lines. There we are. Let me actually rename this. Call this trim paths. Now in here, I believe we turned off. Yeah, we did. All right, so come back to 5 seconds, 100. That happened because both the layers were named the same thing. I forgot to change the name. Make sure you do. And then go back here, select this, and just do what we did previously. All right, now it should do its thing. Then it's going to reach here. All right, I'm going to, actually we don't need this. Just go in where the flickering stops or the shape is complete, Control-Shift-D. And in here, we're just going to reset the transform properties. And I believe we have the, yeah, so Alt click on this to turn off the wiggle thing we added. Trim paths 2 comes below trim paths 1. So after this, the shape is complete. We just get the regular shape and it's not flickering anymore. All right, now for this, we can add the opacity thing. 100%, so it's gradual. And let me see if the speed is okay. Play that back. There we are. So the thingy stops. I'm going to bring this in closer and I'm going to do the exact opposite on this guy. So we're going to hit T on that. And actually it's fine. Since we have the coding thing going on, we don't want to disturb it too much. Alright, we had this. And we have prepped our text. So in here, I'm going to select these path layers and pre-compose them. Call this lines. And now we have this within a singular layer, which looks cool. It's like a fun little thing. And then around here, I'm gonna make it disappear. So I believe it stops around here. I'm gonna hit T. Now that we pre-composed it, it's not going to disturb all the other things we did. Do that, F9. Then here it's going to disappear. And that is because around here we're going to make the background appear. So that's why we made the thing disappear. And we're going to have to move this guy down. Right? Match the, maybe we can make it come in sooner. So hit T on this, 0, and opacity to make it 100. Now let me try this. I may have to can do another thing actually. Let's try, let me F9 these first. Maybe expanding the time after these disappear. We want to add like a cool glow effect on this as well. Not exactly the glow effect that we added on the outlines, but kind of a light sweep on this. Close that. We're going to go in the effects and preset, search for light sweep, CC light sweep, add it onto logo background. Getting many things. And before I do that, I'm just going to pre-compose this. The reason why we're doing this so many times is that we don't want to disturb the previous effects. So just call this logo. Alright, now we can add the CC light sweep, starting fresh. And essentially what this does is that it's going to just, I don't know if you can see the light here, it's going to make like a really cool light sweep motion come in. So let's first do that. Go to the width and want to add to the width. And get this guy. Click on this so we can choose from which direction we want the light to come from. I'm going to make it in come in from here. This is the light sweep, by the way. Let's put it here so we can see. I do want to add to the width, but we want to add to the sweep intensity just so we have like a metallic look to it. Edge thickness, gonna let it be. Edge intensity, you can add or remove as you please. Alright, so we're gonna bring it in from where we want the animation to start. Make it come in from here. Okay, yeah, I like this. Gonna match this with the tip here. And after it appears, which is here, I'm going to go on the center, turn on the stopwatch, move in a few seconds, and then make it sweep to the other side, completely out of sight. So it's going to come in like that, flicker, it appears, we get this metallic look. Hit U on logo, and then you can change the speed and all that. Maybe I want it to appear over here. Hit F9, bring them in closer, make it a little slower than it was, so we don't have that awkward pause in the beginning. Bring it here. Play that back. All right. So we can also go into graph editor and just make it look better. try this. So we have the slide motion. I think that looks better. Then it goes back to the original thing. Now I did want to mention, if you're not a fan of the metallic look, you could go for another effect that will kind of have a gradient flat mode to it, and that's this effect right here. I'm just going to show you how it is and how it works if you're not a fan of the metallic look that we're going for and you would prefer something that is more 2D. So in here we got the colors. You would choose the start color and the end color. I'm going to just choose the yellow we had in the beginning. Use the eyedropper tool to sample that color. And you can also choose another color for the end. I'm going to leave it as white, and you can see instead of that 3D metallic look, we have this. So essentially the start color and the end color are going to transition one after the other. You get to choose the center point like you did with the light sweep. So it would just be a gradient on top of a flat color, which in this case it's white, but you could switch them if you want. So personally, I'm not going to use this effect because I prefer the 3D metallic look. I'm going to delete it. You can use that if you want. And we're going to, I guess we can be done with the inner color. It looks cool. And then here we had the two texts that was within our layer. I think it was called Creative Design. I'm going to delete this. Come in here, not outlines, come in flat logo layers, text. Bring it above so we can see what we're dealing with. Yeah, it was called Creative Design. Before moving on to the text, I'm going to add one final effect to the logo. So I'm just going to delete that. So just pre-comp anything related to a logo. So these two together, pre-compose, logo final. Alright, so we have this. I'm going to come here, hit S on my keyboard and just make it really big. So this is the center of attention first, and after it appears and does all that, around here, I want it to suddenly like back out into its original size, which is 100. Just type it in. Again, F9, speed graph. We're going to grab one of these and do that. So big shape comes out. If you want it to be faster, just bring this guy inwards. Lay that back. Alright, you can see it was a lot more smoother, and it's happening while the light sweep is doing its thing. So there we are, it looks cool, and then we can bring in the text. Hit M on logo final. The text was Creative Design, which you can see here. I'm going to add fill, or we can just type this in actually, like we did in the last lesson. I'm going to get a white solid. So I can first type in my text because I want to make sure the fonts and all are somewhat the same. Get the text tool and just write in Creative. Control A, make it black so we can see. Work out the A, Creative Design, Control A. We have X bold. We also want to make it a little bit flat, like the original text. Increase the size. You don't have to copy the original text, I just want it to look somewhat the same. Alright. Hold down Control, press this twice, the anchor point, I think pan behind anchor point tool, click away, and I'm going to do a separate text for the design part because I want it to appear from another direction. So we're going to write design, but we're going to hit Control A and make this maybe light. There we are. It has the same settings from the previous thing. Again, hold down Control or Command and press this twice so we can place it in the right position. I think it needs to be a little bit thinner, maybe. Okay, that's the thinnest we can go. Oh, we have this on. Just turn this off. And I'm just going to stretch out this text. Instead of 100, let's add on to that. There we are. Delete text, the Adobe Illustrator layer. I'm going to hit Control R, make sure they are on the same line, or Command R. Hit Edge. Want to make sure they're in the same place. Okay, Control R again. Get rid of this ruler. Alright, now that we have this, we have to change the colors of these into the white. Because our background is black, hit white on this. Click once, Control or Command A, hit white there. Then we can delete white solid 3. So we have this. Let's grab both of these, hit M. I'm gonna lock my black solid. Alright. So after this guy comes down, I'm going to make the text appear. Let me see where that is. Hit U on logo final. Okay. So after this transition, we're going to bring in both of these guys here. Alright, and because we did the font choice and the color and all that, we can actually go ahead and pre-comp these together. So right click, pre-comp, call this text. So I can do this somewhere else in its own composition. Double click, let me close this. Double click on text. We can do the effect that we're about to do here. Right. So what I want to do is to first decide where these guys are coming from. I want creative to come in from above and design to come in from the side, or actually the below. So we're going to get the rectangle tool and just pick a really random color. And while not clicking on anything, we want the star next to our cursor. I'm going to make a rectangle that is just above our text. Click away. I'm going to do the same thing for design. Alright. Get your move tool and want to make sure that it's not covering any of those letters. See, it is for design. Click on the shape, use your arrow key to maybe move it down 1 pixel. Click on that and bring it down so we can see the bottom of our text. Bring this up. Alright, so we have 2 of these. And this one is creative shape. Let's name it creative shape. This guy is called design shape. So we have this in mind. Alright, on creative shape, we're going to bring these below the text layer because these are going to appear from behind. Just drag them in here. And this way we make sure that the letters are not covered while we're making them appear. Go to Effects and Presets, search for Set Matte, and put it on both of these layers. So on Design, on Creative. Right, close that. And then here, this is the text Creative. Set Matte, we're going to put it on Creative Shape. Make sure they match. You can see it disappears. And just hit the Invert Matte. Go on Design. Again, Design Shape, Invert thing. And then once we turn this off, you can see that they're connected. You can't see that yet, but hit P on your text layers. And we're going to just make it go behind this. So go on the Y, which is this one, and just bring it below. And if I turn off Design Shape, you can see it's not there. It's like magic. I'm going to do the same thing for, let's start with this first. Turn on the position keyframe, move in a few frames, and just bring it back up. Let's hit Control R to make sure that it's on one line. It is. Going to do the same thing on this line. Hit P on creative and just bring it. Let's see. I'm not seeing creative. Yeah, gotta come in a few frames so you can see the text. Bring it completely out of sight. Turn on the stopwatch. Match it with design. Bring it down. Make sure it's on the line. Then we can go ahead and turn that off as well. Grab all keyframes, hit F9, and then we're going to go in the speed graph, grab the end. We want to make sure this is like really smooth. So it's like that. I guess I want to do this separately. So I want creative to come in first. I'm going to move design, move design a bit away. So creative appears first and then design. Select the creative keyframes. I'm going to do this one by one. Alright, so it's something like this. Like that, it looks better. Get the other two keyframes and we're going to do the same. Get out of that, maybe add a little bit more space so there's a pause before design shows up. Creative, design. Maybe a little bit faster. Play around with the keyframes, see what works well for you. Alright. And let me see if the words are getting covered. Okay, it is. So go on the second keyframe and we want to move this upwards so that the bottom of the letters are not getting hidden by the shape. It's really important. You don't want the bottoms to not be there. All right. So we have this. If you go back in here, we have the design, but we wanted the thing to appear after this shape has completed the animation. So we did that. And in text, I'm going to bring these in the beginning. Select both, bring them in here, forgot to do that. Alright, now we go back in here and they will appear like so. Alright, and if you want, you could add the same gradient effect to this. I think I'll do that because it looks a bit out of place. Add 4 color gradients to this. I'm going to bring in my colors again. I believe we have this guy. Okay, and go in text, effect control, and we're just going to do what we did last time. So like this, color again this, but we're going to make this one a little bit lighter. And then here we're going to go for, I guess this one. And then finally the color white. Gotta reposition these. So I think white is this one. This is white. Alright, bring white because the light source is here. And design needs to be like that. Something like so. I guess I'll bring a darker one here. Looks metallic. And remove the blend. Maybe add a little bit of space. Try to match the light here. Sometimes you may not need all of the little dots. So if you didn't use all of them, don't worry. Because we only have like a short text. Delete metallic thingy. And there we are. So it has the line thing, creative design, but now it fits in with the gradient that we have. Alright, and I think I want to, let me go in here for a second, in lines, then I think it's this one. Yeah, I'm not happy with the line color. Just turn it to white. I think the yellow is a little bit out of place. And this is why we pre-comp everything. As you saw, If I need to go back, I can simply do that, and I don't have to waste time. Start all over, actually. So now we should have, yeah, we have a white line now. The yellow wasn't doing it for me. So we have white flickering lines, which looks better with our gray gradient in the end. Here comes that, light sweep, creative design. Okay, design is a little bit slow, go in text. Cancel that, click away, and then move it. See here. Still a little too slow. Alright, so we did that in text, now it should appear faster. Creative design, okay, now I like this. And there we have it. We did this 3D effect. You could, of course, add like a video in the background so it looks better, but that was just a quick and simple way to do this 3D effect, 3D locomotion. In the next lesson, we're going to go over the easier method, just so you have 3 options to work with rather than 2. I will not be doing it in this lesson because it will be long. And this is it for this lesson. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.